As leaders in education, we are often called on to resolve conflicts, student fights, staff disputes, parents are upset. Conflicts can impact our educational environment. But there is a difference between hearing the problem and understanding it. So what is the difference between hearing and understanding? Hearing is a surface level issue. A student is acting out in class. Discipline decisions are made solely on that information, and then the policy is applied. Suspension, detention, whatever the policy is. Understanding is more about understanding the behavior, the student's behavior, the teacher's behavior, whoever it is that you're having the conflict with. With a student, it may be personal struggles. It may be they just don't like that subject. Maybe there are peers in that class or peers that they're having issues with at the school. Maybe there's stuff going on at home that you're just not even aware of. All of that can affect the student's behavior. So taking an in-depth approach to understanding the conflict will help a lot when you're talking about conflict resolution. Social emotional learning is a big part of what we talk about in education today, and helping our students with their social emotional learning is imperative today. Ask questions of students and of teachers. Be an active listener. We'll talk more about this in just a moment. Conflict behavior becomes clearer when you understand the underlying surface of what's happening. Consequences may remain the same, but you have to be able to understand what's going on to make those decisions. So let's talk about active listening. This is a key component to understanding what's happening with a student or especially right after a conflict. It is always beyond what the person is saying. You have to pay attention to body language, their eye contact, their posture, their facial expression. I talked before about a smile and how a smile can just change your whole demeanor, right? But we've all seen those kids where their posture's down, the tone of voice is, yeah, no, I don't know. That tells you a lot about how engaged they really are in what you're trying to do. And maybe they just don't care. And then there's those that have strong emotions, and that a lot of time bubbles up, and that's what causes the fight. It's what they're not saying that you want to watch out for when you're actively listening. Learning the underlying issues. So let's look at the bigger picture. As a leader in education, let's take a holistic approach to conflict resolution. Consider more immediate issues at hand. Consider the context in which it is occurring. Do you have groups or cliques in your schools that are not getting along, and you know that if you don't deal with it, you're going to end up with more conflict? That's part of that holistic approach. We're not going to wait until there's a problem. Let's deal with the problem before it becomes a problem. An example, two students fighting, there's dynamics going on between their peer groups. There's maybe cultural factors. They may be social factors. The school's overall approach to how you deal with those conflicts may need to be changed. As leaders, we create those policies. So effectively modifying policies within your school culture, within your social issues, think about how your policies are dealing with those, and have they been looked at? Have they been addressed? Has there been changes to those policies in the last year, 5 years, 10 years? Are you dealing with 20-year-old policies? I doubt it. But understanding what's going on, that requires empathy, patience, and an open mind. Empathy. Put yourself in those kids' shoes. Patience. Take the time to find out. Actively listen to what they're saying to you. And have an open mind. We all have troublemakers, right? But do you have a troublemaker or do you have a troubled soul? Ultimately, understanding leads to more effective solutions, a more positive school environment, and support not only for your students, but for your staff and maybe even for the community. The difference between hearing a conflict and understanding a conflict changes how we resolve those conflicts. As educational leaders, it's important that we have an in-depth approach. Social emotional learning for our students and maybe even some for our staff. Having a holistic approach and changing policies where needed all lead to a more positive and supportive educational environment. And Everybody benefits. But I would love to hear what you think. What kind of questions do you ask when you're actively listening? What kind of questions do you ask your students versus what you might ask your teachers? Feel free to let me know by posting in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, visit our free resource library at lighthouse-therapy.com. Thank you and have a blessed day.